Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to take a look at several of the Psalms. Now, we're going through the Bible chronologically, which means we're not necessarily going to hit things in the order they're found in your Bible. So today, you're going to be jumping around a little bit. We're going to be in the book of Psalms, and we're actually going to look at 5 different Psalms. We're going to look at Psalm 7, 27, 31, 34, and 52. I'll reference them again as we go through. Now, the point behind going through the Psalms in this manner is these Psalms are happening at about the same time as what we've been going through in the book of 1 Samuel so far. So grab a Bible, open up to Psalm 7. Now, here's a quick synopsis of these 5 Psalms. Psalm 7 is a cry for justice. David writes this psalm when he's falsely accused, possibly during the time when enemies like Cush the Benjamite were slandering him. He cries out to God as his refuge and declares his innocence. He asks God to rise up in righteous judgment, not for revenge, but so that justice can be restored. He says in verse 9, "Oh, let the evil of the wicked come to an end, and may you establish the righteous." Despite all the tension, David ends up praising God for being a righteous judge. Then Psalm 27 is confidence in the midst of chaos. David's courage shines out in this particular psalm. He declares, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" in verse 1. And even when surrounded by enemies, he's able to cry out these things. It demonstrates that his faith is shining through in the midst of some challenging circumstances. His greatest desire isn't escape, it's to dwell in the house of the Lord and see God's beauty. This psalm ends with a challenge in verse 14. "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage." Now, as we flip to Psalm 31 and then Psalm 34 right after it, 31 deals with trust in the middle of trouble. You're going to notice a bit of a theme here. This psalm is deeply emotional. David feels surrounded by enemies, abandoned, and even forgotten like a broken vessel. And yet, this is the psalm where he says, "Into your hand I commit my spirit," words Jesus would later echo on the cross. David swings between sorrow and trust, but lands firmly in faith. 34 is a psalm of praise from a cave. This psalm was written after David escaped from the Philistines by pretending to be insane. Even in the wild, humiliating moment, David saw God's hand of deliverance. And then in 52, God versus evil boasters. This psalm calls out Doeg the Edomite, the one who would kill the priests of Nob. David is horrified at Doeg's evil and arrogance, but takes comfort in God's justice. This is where he says, "The steadfast love of God endures all day." These psalms are psalms of worship, even in the middle of some of the most challenging times in life. I hope these can be your psalms of worship too. Be well, friends.